Hello and welcome back to another video. I hope you are all doing well. Today we are going to be looking at the impact of immigration on the UK property market and try to come to some kind of conclusion on what mass immigration means for the property market, housing crisis and prices moving forward. So without further ado, let's get into it. Since the 1990s, the UK has seen a rapid increase in house prices and immigration. Most recently, the rise in overall net migration has been driven by an increase in non-EU citizens. Non-EU net migration gradually increased during the 2010s, reaching 184,000 in 2019. It did briefly fall in 2020 because of the pandemic. However, in 2022, it shot up to 662,000. This was a result of a large increase in the number of non-EU migrants coming to the UK. There were a total of 925,000 non-EU long-term arrivals in 2022. This is over 2.5 times more than the number recorded in 2019. Now, because we've seen an increase in both house prices and immigration at the same time, it's hard to avoid coming to the conclusion that the increased levels of net migration are having at least some impact on the UK housing crisis and prices. Now, that being said, there are a number of very interesting studies that show high levels of net immigration actually lead to lower house prices in certain areas because it means native homeowners move elsewhere. Net migration will increase housing demand. Immigrants, for the most part, however, are likely to choose rentable properties rather than buying their own. This was shown by the Oxford Migration Survey, where it reported 74% of recent migrants, so those who have been in the UK for 5 years or less, were in the private rented sector. This increase in the number of households and rental demand will be putting upward pressure on prices and of course the actual number of available properties. The strong demand for renting increases the number of buy-to-let landlords looking to profit from the rising demand and rising rents. Hi guys, real quick interruption. If you're finding this video useful, remember to hit that like button, hit the share button and of course subscribe to the channel. I also have a link in the description to my newsletter, Business Bites. I'm currently in the process of completing on my first buy-to-let property, and as a subscriber to that newsletter, I will be creating a guide on how I bought my first rental property and how you can find and buy your first rental property. Now, back to the video. The main issue really for the UK arises from the fact that demand currently outstrips supply by a massive margin. Back in 2017, the government set a target of 300,000 new homes to be built every year for buy or rent. The UK is yet to hit that target or in reality even come close. This increase in demand combined with the limited supply is a huge factor pushing both sale and rental prices just higher and higher. Now, there is actually a scenario, metaphorically speaking, where net immigration does not cause house prices to rise. However, it relies on supply increasing at the same rate as demand. You see, the difficulty is that the UK has struggled to increase housing stock at the required rate for decades. It's estimated that the UK would need to build at least 250,000 new houses every single year to keep pace with the changing demographics and the rising population. But this is obviously easier said than done. There is limited land and a reluctance to build on greenfield sites. There is also opposition from those who disagree and argue we could build more properties by building mini pods on brownfield sites. But any new housing project invariably meets local opposition. And the difficulties don't end there. Even if the UK were to build enough homes to meet demand, you then have the issue of population density. With a rising population, you have increased pressure on local amenities and transport links. So yes, mass immigration is having an impact on the housing crisis, sale prices and rental prices. However, it's not the sole cause of the problem. There are a number of contributing factors. There's an increased delay in people getting married, more single people, and an increased life expectancy, all causing a rise in the number of households. There's a shortage of skilled labour, so bricklayers, and then there's a shortage of semi-skilled labour, general construction workers, labourers, that kind of thing, which is potentially having a negative impact and effect on the housing supply. This is actually though where immigration can help, because it can fill those semi-skilled job shortages in the construction industry. For a long time as well, we also had super low interest rates, which helped people keep mortgages but also buy in the first place, despite the high prices. And finally, we have a shortage of social housing and local authority housing. And interestingly, immigrants actually account for a relatively small percentage of the social housing rent. So given the fundamental issue we're currently facing with supply and demand, net migration has made the problem worse and continued to contribute to the overall housing crisis. However, as I said, it's not the sole problem. To some extent, the problem could be solved by dealing with the root cause of the housing crisis, which is a lack of affordable housing. But this is a difficult thing to achieve in reality. To round up, continued net migration is likely to further exacerbate the housing crisis, push up sale prices and push up rents. And without intervention, it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. Well guys, that's all from me. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, remember to hit that like button, hit the share button, and of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time,